It all depends on what commitments I have on the PC for, like,
Oh, yeah, of course,
back-to-back
not be racing on
tournaments and shit.
Thursdays. Yeah,
It's not
Jazzman's
just,
thinking of racing project cars next season.
I am. I am. I am.
you'll have a load of fun with that. You're definitely, no disrespect to Project Cars. That's where I started for some reason, but it's a serious downgrade to what ACC is.
Well,
I
the
mean,
thing is,
I love,
I
I
the
love
GT
Project
cars,
Cars.
yes, but everything else, no. I disagree with everything else. GT cars, like they're not very good on project cars, but you got touring cars, Clios, those cars are brilliant on project
also
cars.
it's because Assetto Corsa focuses on GT cars primarily. So you can't.
The thing about project cars is it's not supposed to be like specific.
It's in the middle
It's supposed
between
to be a general-
Simcade. It's in the middle between Simcade and Sim. It's right in the middle there. It gives you the best
Then
of
you
both
get
worlds.
then you get to Project Cars 3. Then it's like, what the fuck is this
I've
about?
I've always said Project Cars 2 is the best casual sim racers game ever,
for console.
ever made.
On console,
In my opinion.
on console, yes.
They had such a thing there, man. The weather system there was amazing. It just needed
Oh,
tweaks
yes.
and updates. They should have just kept Project Cars 2 and continuously updated it.
The customizability, if that's even a word, customizability, is that a word? I think it is.
Apparently, what they're going to be doing with the next
really
one.
good.
Apparently, what they're going to be doing with the next Project Cars is taking the customization of Project Cars 3, but keeping the variety and the sim racer side of things of Project Cars 2.
The thing is, what they've shown with ACC, they've shown you don't need a bloody sequel, you don't need to create a new title, you just need to bring out updates, and you can still make money just by
It's the
charging
iRacing
people
model.
for
Yeah, it's the iRacing model. Yeah.
Have you not seen what they're going to be doing in 2024 with ACC? They're bringing out a second one.
Are they? Well,
Yeah,
basically,
ACC
they've made the first one last 6 years.
And with the last the last DLC that's coming out next year for the ACC, or at least on PC and next gen consoles, they're bringing out GT1. I think it's GT1 or GT2
that is going to be
cars.
sick.
Yeah,
GT1 I've heard.
The
Along with
GT1.
along with the new Ferrari GT3. And I
They're
think
bringing
it's
that out on the PS5 as well.
Yeah,
PS5
November
is gonna be the same as
20th,
PC
we get
soon.
get those new, we get the American tracks and everything else.
Land of the Free DLC, isn't it?
Oh, this is
Yeah.
a short formation lap.
Is it short? Oh, no way.
That's not.
Yes, it is.
Is it
Oh,
short?
so that's yeah.
Oh shit, right, okay. Right, hold on. Jump in. Alright.
Oh god.
I don't mind a short formation lap. It gets us into the action.
Yeah, but I'm having a fag. I can't smoke and drive. God damn it, Andy! You literally had one job.
Right, here we are everybody, welcome back to the Motive channel. We're here on the first lap of the final race for the GT3 League on ACC on the PlayStation 4 platform. As we are currently see Jazzman has opened up a bit of a gap here on this first lap. He's got just under 2 seconds to Archie. Appenu there ahead of Spuzz, followed by John Jig Guitar Rich. There's Nilsson ahead of Yellow Army. Emo Guy's made a good start up into 9th place despite being caught out by the short formation lap, as indeed everybody was a few moments ago. But he's ahead of Diamenta, Fednad and Pete Bibb running at the back as we're coming out of the final corner to complete the first lap, and it's Jazzman already stretching his lead at the front. We've also got a couple of guys in the party chat with us, Jazzman himself and Emo Guy as well, so those guys are currently with us in the party chat and will be giving us a bit of a running commentary as to what's going out on the track. But here we go, we've got a move here, we've got Diamenta looking to the outside of Emo Guy into turn 1. Emo Guy defends that inside lines, keeping it pinned there. Diamenta with no way around at the moment. We see somebody straight on there in the background. Fednad there running straight over turns 1 and 2, and that's Pete off into 11th place. So routine stuff there from him. Appenlu's keeping the pressure on Archie at the moment. Spuzz right on the back of them as well. This is a freeway battle here for 2nd place. They've cleared Jonjic by a couple of seconds. He in turn's got Guitar Rich, giving him a bit of a hassle at the moment for P5 and 6. A couple of seconds further back to Nilsson and Yellow Army having a bit of a duel here for 7th and 8th. As Dimension's looking to the inside here on Emo Guy. Is he going to send one into the left-hander at the end of the back straight? He's going to go for it there. Dimension does get it done, and up into 9th place. Beautifully done there from Dimension. Jazzman leading by over 2 seconds though, and he's continuing to show his advantage at the moment in the early stages of this final race of the season at Misano. Obviously, we want to say a big congratulations to this man here, because he is already the champion of this PS4 GT3 League for season 11. He won this championship in season 9 as well. He obviously wasn't able to race every week last season for season 10. Did win a couple of races, but wasn't around all the time to be able to compete for the championship. But he's regained his championship this season already before a wheel was even turned, because his championship rival Tynus wasn't able to turn up for this week. So Jazzman here is currently enjoying himself and on his way to a champion's drive. As you've got Archie and Apanu still separated by 7/10 of a second. Spud a further second back. Jonjic has got Guitarich still keeping him onto him at the moment, as Yellow Army's dropping down the pack. Don't know what's happened to the Yellow Army, but he has had a moment there. Emo Guy, did you see what happened to him?
Yeah, we went straight on it, the kind of hard braking zone, taking into the final couple of corners.
What a shame there for Yellow Army, but still a long way left to go in this race. Obviously, oh, are you kidding me? The mandatory pit stop's not even on. I've seriously messed this up, guys. I'm so sorry.
Really? Oh, no.
Oh my god. I'm just gonna I'm gonna have to get a sheet. I've got a sheet of paper, and I'm gonna be ticking them all off. So, alright, nobody's getting away with not doing their pit stop. I'm telling you that now.
Well, I have to pit anyway. It's low fuel, 50 litres.
Yeah, to be honest, most people are going to need to pit because it's an advantage to pit. So I don't think it's going to really work out not pitting, because your tyres are going to be all over the place by the end. But we got Apanu just over a second behind Archie, so Archie's just pulled out a little bit of a cushion. He's not pulled away, but well, he has bit, but he's certainly not out of the woods in that pad. Oh no, Apanu really sideways there. That might allow Spuzz a look in here up into P3. Spuzz onto the podium. Apanu with just got a little bit sideways getting onto the power, and he's down to 4th place there. So Spuzz did not need a second invitation. Last season's champion of the PS4 GT3 League. He's obviously lost his crown tonight to Jazzman, but Spuzz there getting himself onto the podium in this final race of the season, as Apanu has now got Jonjic breathing down his neck in this battle for 4th place. Jonjic's capped Guitar Rich, and Nilsson has got Diamenta now closing up onto the back of him. Emo Guy's being dragged along with them as well, as these three battling over 7th place here in this race. You've got Yellow Army, who's got ahead of Fednad up into 11th place as well. So Yellow Army's gained another position after obviously dropping down to the back with a little mistake on lap 2 of the race. But this is an intriguing three-way battle for 7th place, as we can see Nilsson a bit wide. Emo Guy also rattling over the curves a little bit, but he's got a decent run here as they're coming down to the end of the back straight. Diamenta looking to the inside in the same part of the track where he made the move on Emo Guy on lap 2. Nothing doing at the moment, and tucked in behind him for the time being, but looking to the outside. Emo Guy will be looking to try and capitalise if Diamenta goes for an attack on Nilsson, and Emo Guy's going to look down the inside and he's going to go for it here. Ian is going to send it, and Nilsson goes a bit deep, and Emo Guy gets the move done, and Diamenta follows him through there. So that's Emo Guy up 2 places, and Pete Bibbs now on the back of Diamenta, but unfortunately for Nilsson there, he's lost quite a few places there. He's dropped well back. But Emo Guy up 2 places, and obviously Diamenta staying in the same position, albeit he lost a place and gained a place in the same corner. Emo Guy there, good driver. He can now try and chase after the top drivers here. He's 5 seconds off of Guitar Rich running in P6. He wasn't really ready for the start. He didn't know it was a short formation after he was actually having a smoke as we went live. So he was caught a bit unawares, but nonetheless, he's now very much up and ready for this. As we've got Jazzman checking out the front. He's got a 7-second lead at the moment over Archie, and he is just enjoying his driving here. He's doing everything he needs to do. The champion-elect of the PS4 GT3 League for this season. His 4th title motive as well. He won the PS5 GT3 League. That was his first championship. He then went and won this league 2 seasons ago. Followed that up with the Sprint Sunday League last season, and is back here on a Wednesday with a bit of a bang, and has duly got and done the business here this season with his championship rival Tinus. Not able to turn up tonight, it's given him a bit of a walkover here, but nonetheless doing a fantastic job as Appenlou's on the back of Spuds, as we can see these two pretty close here for the final podium spot. Obviously we saw Appenlou making a mistake at the end of lap 2, and that just lost him the position, but he's stuck to the task quite well and hasn't given up here in this one. Jonjic, a couple of seconds back, is falling off for those two as they're battling over the podium. So you've got Guitar Rich also falling off a little bit. Emo Guy is closing a little bit on Guitar Rich. Over the last lap he's gained about 7/10 of a second. He's pulled out about almost a 2-second gap here to Diamenta. Pete Bibb now breathing down the neck of Diamenta after a difficult first lap to this race. Nielsen going backwards at the moment with Yellow Army 5 seconds behind him, and Fednad has dropped off the back of Yellow Army quite considerably over the last lap or so. Oh, it's what's happened to Appenlou. Appenlou's had a big moment there coming through the final sector as he has lost out to Jonjic. Jonjic's up into 4th place. Appenlou seems to really hate that sequence. He's lost out to Guitar Rich as well. So Appenlou, and he's lost out to Emo Guy and Diamenta and Pete Bibb. So Appenlou, what has gone on? He is down to P10 in this race. Nielsen is up ahead of him. So Appenlou has dropped it, and he's lost, I think he's lost 7 places. So that is unbelievable there. And he's got a lot of work to do here in this race. Obviously nobody's come in for their mandatory pit stop just yet. There is a mandatory pit stop, despite what you might see on the screen with all the green boxes there. Would indicate that drivers have been in to make their pit stop, but obviously because some moron didn't set the server up correctly, it means that we actually haven't got a mandatory pit stop configured. So yeah, unfortunately we're just going to have to keep our eyes very closely on the timing board here tonight. We got Sim League Pro, obviously that's the Laser Camel there, saying I would be joining you but my PS4 died over the summer. So that's a massive shame there for the Laser Camel. Hopefully you can be hopefully you're able to get a replacement soon, and it'd be good to see you back out on track again. I was thinking about maybe nipping this PS4 Wednesday League in the bud, but I was thinking maybe not, because I think quite a lot of the issues that we have this season it's just maybe down to partially me, to be honest, just not having the servers ready and being a bit disorganised. So I'm going to give it another chance. Obviously I'm going to put up a little vote on the Discord server, so if any of the drivers watching this afterwards, please don't despair. I'm going to do everything I can to keep this Wednesday league going, because at times it's been our most successful league on the server. So obviously I'll be putting a little vote out, just asking people, would PS4 users, would you be up for racing on a Wednesday night? Still, as long as I pledge to make sure that the league is organised and servers updated after each race, ready for the next one, I still want to make it work if possible. But yeah, we'll just have to look into that and see if it's a possibility. But right now we're watching a battle here for 9th and 10th places. As Appenlou round the outside, Nielsen lets him through, does not give him any sort of battle at all there, and that's Appenlou up in position. We've got the Laser Camel saying, I've got a hand-me-down gaming laptop, so I'm mostly playing Automobilista, he says at the moment. Obviously AMS2 there, he says in the chat. Yeah, to be fair, I had like a decent laptop. It wasn't really, it was like a gaming laptop, but it was a Samsung notebook from about 10 years ago. So in its day, it would have been a gaming laptop, but obviously now struggles to run stuff like ACC, even with the most minimal graphics settings. It really wasn't the best. It could run OBS, it had an i7 processor, and I could run the streams on it. Back then I could obviously stream using software and have overlays and stuff like that, really cool little intros. Nowadays I just stream straight from the PlayStation, still saving up for a new computer, but yeah, at the moment it's just a bit of a work in progress, that one. But obviously good to see that you're still racing the Laser Camel, and yeah, hopefully we can see you back out on track on the PlayStation soon. I don't know if you're thinking about upgrading to the PS5, but we're going to be sort of shifting our main focus over to the PS5 soon. We're hoping to start a PS5 GT3 league in, I'm thinking 13th of November. I'm going to get an announcement made about that in the next couple of days. I need to get that done by weekend at the latest, really. But that's the plan, because obviously we've had to delay that league over and over and over again, continuously pushing it back because the PS5 version of ACC was bugged. You couldn't join servers. Everything was just wrong with it. Spectator mode didn't work for starters to begin with. But I think now, touch wood, seems to be operating reasonably well. So we'll be looking to announce that over the next coming days for a 13th of November start. So that'd be a 6-round season, obviously running through from the 13th of November, and then it will be concluding on the 18th of December. So it'll be 6 weeks. So yeah, if anybody on the PS5 is up for that, then keep your eyes out for that one. But we've got Evo Guy has just lost a bit of time to Dimented. Dimented's just gained a bit on him. Obviously, Evo Guy had pulled out almost 2 seconds. Dimented's just got that under a second now. You can see breathing down his neck a little bit. So this battle continuing to rage on. They are both gaining on Guitar Rich though. But at this point, Dimented seems to have a bit more momentum than Emo Guy. John Jig is also keeping Spuzz honest as well. He's only a second behind him, and that gap's coming down. I don't know if Spuzz has made a mistake or if John Jig has just got that gap down on outright pace. I'm just going to make sure I'm still talking using my studio mic and not through my PlayStation headphones, because the studio mic's much better.
Heard a slight change in audio there as I was speaking through my PlayStation headphones just for a few seconds there. But yeah, currently you've got Spuzz and John Jig separated by just over a second. Guitar Rich has now got Emo Guy and Dimented within a second of him. Emo Guy hasn't been able to fend off the challenge of Dimented. These two have got 2 seconds back to Pete Bibb, who's also coming for them as well, as Dimented was really loose there, coming out onto the back straight, was rattling over the curves a bit. But you've got Pete Bibb there in the background, who's closing in on these three by quite a bit. You've got App and Lou also looming in the background there. He's only 3 seconds behind Pete Bibb. He's only about 5 seconds off of this battle for 5th place, so he'll definitely be a factor as well. This could be a very exciting battle here in the mid-pack between Guitar Rich, Evo Guy, Dimented, Pete Bibb and App and Lou. As the gap between Spuzz and John G has just gone up by a couple of tenths on this lap so far, up to 1.3 between those two. Jazzman in the meantime, haven't spoken about him, haven't needed to really. He's just driving off into the distance, having a great time out here at Misano tonight. Unfortunately his rival, his big rival in this series, Tyner's not here, so he's just had this one to himself so far. And yeah, I'd certainly, the only thing that can stop Jazzman now is disconnection, but I don't want to tempt fate there, Jazzman. Obviously, we saw what happened last season at Spa.
Yeah.
But we currently got Emo Guy, who's looking to the inside, or it'll be turned to the outside actually for turn 1. Emo Guy's made the move there beautifully on Guitar Rich. Guitar Rich has now got to watch out because Dimenta's waiting in the wings as well. And whilst these guys battle, it's bringing Pete Bibb ever closer as well. And App and Lou continuing to chip away at these guys. He's now about 4 seconds off of P5, so whilst they've all been tripping over each other, App and Lou right there will be ready to capitalise for sure. But what can Emo Guy do now with John Jig, because the gap's 11 seconds between John Jig and Emo Guy? Can Emo Guy start to reel him in, or has he now found his kind of his place in this classification? We'll have to see. But right now Emo Guy's just pulled about a second here to Guitar Rich. Dimenta's now looking to the outside here on him, but nothing doing just at the moment. Pete Bibb is now right on them as well, and App and Lou you can see visibly closer than what the timing board says. It says it's 2.5 seconds between Pete Bibb and App and Lou. You can see that's no more than a second and a half. It's just over a second, I'd say, with the naked eye. As Dimenta looking to the inside, throwing a little feint there on Guitar Rich. Guitar Rich not taking the bait though, defending his line, holding his nerve. Dimenta looking around the outside, gets a little bit wrong coming into the braking zone, gets a bit of a twitch, goes wide. Can Pete Bibb capitalise on that? No, he can't. Dimenta just gets it turned in. But a hairy moment there for him. Almost lost P7 trying to get P6 whilst this is going on in front of them. Emo Guy is just breaking away and has got now nearly a 2 second gap over Guitar Rich. So Emo Guy has well and truly said, right chaps, I'm off to try and chase down the leaders. He isn't closing though on John Jig. He did lose 4 tenths to John Jig on that last lap, so despite being in some clean air, Emo Guy not quite on the pace of the leaders at the moment. When I say the leaders, I mean the guys battling over podium spots. Obviously Spuzz and John Jig. Archie just a little bit of a step above Spuzz and John Jig, and then Jazzman in a class of his own tonight. But Archie definitely Jazzman's closest contender, but still not in the same league, it must be said. But Spuzz and John Jig still having a good battle, just over a second between those guys. Guitar Rich has still got a train of cars behind him, Dimenta, Pete Bibb and App and Lou as they're coming down to the end of the back straight. What can Guitar Rich do, trying to keep these guys behind him. Obviously, Emo Guy made very short work of Guitar Rich, but the others, Dimenta, Pete Bib, Appenloo, these guys don't seem to be having as easy of a task. And now you're going to be seeing a bit of a concertina effect. Sorry, mate?
Nielsen has petted already.
Right, thank you. You're good. I'm glad that you're on the ball. So Nielsen's been in to make his mandatory pit stop. I don't think anybody else has at this point, so we are still waiting, obviously, on everybody else out on the track other than Nielsen to come in. Guitar Rich is keeping Dimenta at bay, and Dimenta's got a bit deep there. Once again, just making small mistakes, gets away with it this time again, but running the risk there for sure. Doesn't want to be pushing his luck too much at this point. John Jig's got the gap down to a second here to Spuzz, so it's ebbing and flowing between these two. But once again, John Jig just piling that pressure on, turning it up a little bit here. Driving in the McLaren tonight is John Jig. It's not a car that I've seen him driving before, actually, if I'm honest. I know he likes to switch it up a little bit. I've seen him in quite a few different. I mean, the Lamborghini was always his staple, but then recently I've seen him trying out the Porsche. Now, obviously, the McLaren as well. So yeah, he's definitely he's trying them all out. He's trying to experiment and see what works for him. But the McLaren's a very solid car on ACC, on any version of ACC. It's generally quite an all-rounder. At the moment, he's keeping that pressure on Spuzz at the moment. I imagine that John Jig probably will have to pace down the straights on Spuzz, and then Spuzz will be a bit quicker through the twisty bits. You've got a couple of reasonably sized straights, but no real long straights. It's mostly really a downforce orientated circuit, Misano. You want to have a car that's reasonably okay down the straights, but generally I think cars like the Porsche should be pretty strong around here. But the Bentley, it's built for the Bentley really, because the Bentley's just great with everything. It's a smooth car. It's a dream to drive. The Bentley, it's one of those cars when you get into a flow, there's no stopping you. Jazzman certainly knows that. And Archie is running in P2 as well. It's a Bentley 1-2. Only two Bentleys on the track here tonight for the final race of the season, but they're currently showing the way, showing how it's done. And they currently got, Archie's got 8 seconds back to Spuzz and John Jig, who are still battling over that final podium spot, as we've said many times before. Guitar Rich has just lost out a couple of positions here. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but he has lost out to Dimenta and Appenloo, and he's gone
Yellow
to
Army
almost the back of his... Oh, Yellow Army has been disqualified. Oh, must have been speeding in the pits.
Going the wrong direction, it said.
Wrong direction, oh my goodness. Well, Yellow Army out of the race, and we're down to 11 drivers here, and he's left the session, no surprise, obviously there. So, shame for Yellow Army. Final race of the season's not gone to plan at all there for him. Yeah, unlucky there, buddy. Shit happens, I guess. But we got Spuzz has gapped John Jig a little bit. Oh no, I've got no controls. Oh no, I've got no they got the back. It's alright. Oh, so worried there. I had no controls for a second. I couldn't flick up and down the leaderboard. oh god, thank God. Right, Dimenta. Still 3/10 ahead of Appenloo at the moment, as they've gapped Pete Bib by a couple of seconds. Guitar Rich, though, we saw just before that made a mistake. He's now dropped well off at the back of them. Did Pete Bib and Guitar Rich have a little bit of maybe a bit of a wiggle together, because they've both dropped off of Dimenta and Appenloo. Appenloo looking to try and clear Dimenta if he can, but these guys have dropped 4 seconds off of the back of Emo Guy. Now the gap between John Jig and Emo Guy was 11 seconds before Emo Guy got into some clean air. It's now 13 seconds. Obviously it's been about 4 laps, so John Jig's about half a second lap quicker than Emo Guy, so I think Emo Guy has sort of found his level in this race. P4, I think, representative of where he sort of stands in this order, but he's a little bit off the pace of Spuzz and John Jig, but not massively. And he's certainly got a little bit more pace than these guys behind him in the mid pack. Dimenta, Appenloo, we're not sure about just at the moment, as he's still struggling to clear the car in front of him, but we see him coming down the back straight here. Now Appenlou's got a great run, flicking to the inside. You can see Diamenta leaves him, there's car's width there, and Appenlou's going to send it down the inside into the left-hander at the end of the back straight, and beautifully done there from Appenlou. Routine stuff there, up into 6th place as Guitar Rich is into the pits and is the second driver in this race to make his mandatory pit stop. So that's now Guitar Rich and Nilsson, who have both been in. Fednad hasn't been in, so he moves up into 9th place at the moment, but the top 9 still yet to pit. Obviously the bottom 2 have both been in.
Looking at the lap times, Spuzz and John Jig are very close.
Yeah, it's been nip and tuck here between these guys since the beginning. John Jig's just been sort of getting close, and then Spuzz pulls out a bit. I think you're seeing the difference in.
Yeah, I can see the lap
very
times.
Similar.
Yeah.
I think John Jig's just got it within a second here as they're coming down the back straight. Now I wonder if he's not close enough to send it, that's for sure, but he might be close enough to put Spuzz under a little bit of pressure here. This is the part of the track where Spuzz will have the advantage. Obviously the twisty parts, the Porsche should have the grip over the McLaren, but yeah, John Jig's just been keeping him on his toes since the start of this race, just sort of worked his way up at the start. And John Jig hasn't been here regularly for the Wednesday League this season, hasn't been able to commit to the championship like he has in previous seasons. But he's obviously joined at the latter half of the season, and John Jig's always been improving, despite the fact that he hasn't been racing here. I think he's been racing on ACC and other leagues, and I know that he's been racing consistently over the seasons, and he's always getting quicker and quicker. And he's almost, I think he's like pretty much getting to the sort of level of drivers like Archie, who we see currently running in P2, who's best of the rest here tonight at Misano. But John Jig right now just under a second here between Spuzz and John Jig. It's closer than it's ever been here, 7/10 over the line. Into turn 1 they come. John Jig will now try and make the most of this momentum that he's got whilst he's got it. Diamenta has lost out to Appenlou. Appenlou is now into P6 and can now try and chase down Emo Guy, but the gap quite big now, 6 seconds between Emo Guy and Appenlou. Diamenta's now, I think, going to drop off of him a little bit. Appenlou should be able to say bye-bye to him now, but John Jig has just lost a bit of time to Spuzz in the first sector. 2/10 quicker with Spuzz coming through that part of the track, as Jazzman rightly pointed out. These two very close on lap times, but there's the Porsche and the McLaren, very different cars, and you see that they have different strengths around this circuit, so it equates to the same sort of lap time, but in terms of their sector times you obviously see a little bit of variance. You see the McLaren probably a bit quicker through the middle sector, and then through the first and the final sectors you probably see the Porsche just clawing it back quite a bit. But Spuzz there just pulled out a few tenths actually there to John Jig down the straight, so he must have got a much better exit out of those slower corners. Obviously the Porsche has got good traction, but the McLaren has got slightly better straight line speed. But at the moment Spuzz just keeping John Jig out of Jab's reach at the moment. He's just holding him at bay, keeping the distance, and John Jig just can't seem to get within that sort of that quick combination range at the moment. And we see these guys coming over the line here to complete lap 16 of the race. The gap's come down a bit through the final sector once again. John Jig has got it down to 6/10 of a second, so again ebbing and flowing this battle between these two. Spuzz, the champion from last season in this GT3 league on the PS4, obviously has lost his title to our race leader Jazzman, who is just driving off into the distance here tonight. But John Jig, a veteran here at Motive, raced in this Wednesday league when it was GT4s way back in the day. Oh, it's John Jig all over the sleeping policeman there as he runs wide, coming out onto the back straight, and he was all over the place there. He got really wide. I don't know if he might have some suspension damage there. He might have a little bit. Suspension damage not as much of an issue on this game as it is on the F1 game, which is an arcade game, which is mad. But yeah, obviously we can see Jonjik there still keeping to the back of him, so he hasn't lost too much time in that little debacle there. Pete Bibb is still keeping Diamenta on his toes, just over a second, currently separating those two in P7 and P8. But at the moment, it's still as you were between these guys in 3rd and 4th places. We are approaching the halfway mark here in this race. I'm just going to double check that my mic's working. I'm sure it is. But
It is, yep.
it is working.
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you on your proper
the stream
mic.
as well.
Oh, well, I can hear you on your proper mic.
Yeah, it's coming through. I think it's coming through on the stream as well. Yeah, it's coming through the stream. Cool. So yeah, currently Spuz just got a gap at 9 tenths here to Jonjik. So once again, she's going up and down between these two. Diamenta's pulled away a bit from Pete Bibb, gained another couple of tenths there. Pardon me. So the gap's gone from 1.2 to 1.4 between those two. Saying that though, it's come down a bit more in the final sector as Diamenta very wide there out of the last corner. It's now just over a second between those two. Jonjik's just dipped it under a second here on Spuz. Spuz a bit wide there coming out onto the back straight. Jonjik there almost going wide onto those speed bumps. But in fact, Emo Guy's now started to get into a bit of a rhythm. We noticed obviously the gap between Jonjik and Emo Guy was about 13 seconds a couple of laps ago now. Emo Guy's, I think, started to get his tyres in the right window. Maybe the pressures are where he wants them at this point. Maybe they weren't earlier on. Obviously, he spent quite a little while stuck in traffic, so that wouldn't have helped him. But now I think he's starting to get into a bit of a rhythm, and the gap between Jonjik and Emo Guy is coming down. So I wouldn't write off Emo Guy out of a podium chance in this race. I mean, it's a long shot because obviously he's got quite a big gap to overhaul, but you know, you can never count out Emo Guy. One race that springs to mind with Emo Guy on ACC would be the GT4s at Monza season opener. Must have been season 7 or yeah, it must have been season 7 or season 8, can't remember. It was the start of last year, or this year even, not last year, this year. But I just remember Emo Guy, he had to start from the pits, I think P20, he had to start from the pit lane. Ended up P5 in that race. It was an unbelievable drive. He was, he never gave up, never stopped believing, and just pushed all the way to the flag and ended up with a fantastic result. I think it was P5, it might have been P6, can't remember, P5 or P6, but it's a long time ago, to be fair. It's about 8 months ago now, 8-9 months ago. So yeah, a lot happens in that time. But right now, Apenlu in the pits to make his pit stop. So he becomes the 3rd driver of this field to come in and make his mandatory pit stop. Obviously, the feature on the game which governs the mandatory pit stops not currently activated because of some plonker who set the server up. So unfortunately, we're having to sort of keep our eyes very close on what's going on. Fednad has got a drive-through penalty.
Yeah. Track limits.
He's track limits there. Yeah. Jazzman confirming there over the team radio. So Fednad there been pushing a little bit too much, you know, been taking advantage. Unfortunately, it's got done for that one. We see Apenlu coming to the end of the pit lane now, but Fednad will need to come in and do that drive-through in the next 3 laps, otherwise the penalty will be infinitely more severe than what it currently is. So yeah, he needs to get himself in and get that sorted out. In the meantime, Jonjik's coming in. As he hits the pit wall there as he comes in, but Jonjik nonetheless gets it slowed down and into the pit lane, and towards the box he comes. Obviously in that battle with Spuz just a few moments ago, so Jonjik will be trying to get the jump on Spuz if he can, trying to get the undercut. Spuz staying out. Let's see what Spuz can do. Does Spuz cover him off at the end of this lap, or is he going to try and keep it out there for a little while and try and build a gap? I think Jonjik will probably have the advantage because he'll have fresher tyres for the next couple of laps. The undercut does tend to work, but then again, also Spuz will have fresher tyres for the final stint, so you know it works both ways. We see Diamenta and Pete Bibb both coming in here at the end of lap 20 as well, or lap 19 for them, should I say. So that's now 3 drivers coming into the pits at the end of lap 19. Fednad here with his drive-through will probably be well advised to come in the end of this lap, but you know, I suppose he's his own man, he's his own person, he can make his own choices. Let's see what he does. But yeah, if he doesn't, then I have a feeling the consequences might get a little bit worse for him. But nonetheless, Jonjik coming to the end of the pit lane. He's just exiting now. So he's now almost off the limiter, but you do stay on the limiter. It's a very long pit lane here at Misano, so you're on that pit limiter for a lot longer than you'd ideally want to be. You have to watch as everybody else drives past, and it can be quite frustrating. But John Jig is out of the pits. Dimenta in the background, just coming out now, so the gap between them two is basically what it was. Pip still right on the back of Dimenta, so those two who are battling over 7th and 8th places coming out together. So now, with all the pit stops that have been done so far, obviously Nilsson, Guitar Rich, Pete Bibb, Dimenta, Appenloo, obviously John Jig, Emo Guy's now coming as well. So that just leaves the top 3 now to come in and make their pit stops, and then it's all done. So it's gone quite smoothly, to be fair. I was a bit worried that some people would try and not do it, but I think that it's all worked out quite well in the end. Appenloo's now within half a second of John Jig, as these two having quite a close battle. Emo Guy there currently in the box, just making that pit stop at the moment. But Appenloo giving John Jig a good run for his money here in 5th and 6th places. These two seem to be about 10 seconds ahead of Fednad. Obviously Fednad still needs to come in and do his drive-through penalty. Emo Guy's just coming to the exit of the pit now, so he'll be a little bit behind these two, John Jig and Appenloo. Not massively far behind, but not really as close as he'd want to be. I think Appenloo needs to come in as well. I don't think he's pitted just yet. I think he needs to come in. Oh, he came in early, didn't he? Of course he did. Yes, Appenloo has been in. Sorry, do apologise. My bad. Thank God I've got Emo Guy to keep me straight. What would I do without you, Ian? What would I do? Oh, Appenloo, big wiggle coming out onto the back straight. Massive moment there. Holds onto it, but that's just dropped. He's dropped him just about a second off of the back of John Jig here. As Fednad is now serving his drive-through penalty. He's just coming to the end of the pits right now. He stopped the car. So hopefully he's not retiring. No, he's carrying. Oh no, he stopped again. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. Archie and Spuzz in, so that just now leaves our race leader Jazzman to come in. He'll be the last driver to come in and make his pit stop in this race, as he's just coming through the final few corners of lap 22 and staying out for the time being, showing no signs of coming in, not boxing just yet. As we see Archie and Spuzz here currently sat in the box still. Archie had a healthy enough gap over Spuzz, but Spuzz has rolled the dice here by the looks of it. Oh, and it hasn't paid off. Archie just pulls out in front of Spuzz there. That was close. I'll tell you what, Spuzz has rolled the dice and gone for a basically one set of tyres to last him the whole race, and it almost paid off, almost got in track position, but Archie just comes out ahead of him there. So that'll be a little bit frustrating there for Spuzz, as he's now got to drive the rest of this race on worn tyres, and he doesn't even get the chance to try and defend his position. So that's not worked out for him, as Appenloo still on the back of John Jig. But in fact, these two have kind of come into this battle a little bit here for P2. This is interesting now. We've got potentially a four-way battle for P2. I don't know whether Appenloo didn't pit for tyres. I think he might have opted not to change tyres, because he gained quite a lot of places and a lot of time actually on the podium drivers during the pit window. So I think that Appenloo potentially hasn't changed tyres, so he might drop off in the final sort of part of this race. You got Spuzz here, who's still within a second of Archie at the moment, but that could change. Obviously he's got worn tyres, Archie's got fresh boots on. John Jig there has got just over a second to Appenloo at this point, but can John Jig close that gap down in the final part of this race? I think that John Jig and Appenloo potentially. I don't know. It's difficult to tell. It's difficult to tell because it doesn't work out. If you apply the logic to one driver having not pitted, and then you look at another, then it makes no sense. So I'm not sure. It's difficult to know really. I'm just speculating, but I probably should watch people as they come into the box. That'll give me more of an idea of what's going on. But Jazzman into the box nonetheless, our race leader with a commanding lead in this race. He will emerge with the race lead. He's over a lap ahead at the moment, but obviously these guys are just coming around to unlap themselves. Once Jazzman comes out, he'll have a 30-second lead or thereabouts. So he's definitely got this race under control. As we've got Raki in the comments saying, good evening all. Hello Raki. Raki, a big fan here at Motive Racing. Obviously he works on our stewards team. He's part of our staff here on the Discord server as well. And he races in our F1 league on a Friday night. He's the reigning 2-time Constructors Champion on the F1 league as well. Him and his son Joram taking the plaudits there for the last 2 seasons. But obviously this season, gone their separate ways. Joram still driving in his Red Bull, which he's been driving for the last few seasons. Raki's obviously driving in the Alpha Tauri alongside Max GT in that one. But we can see Jazzman just coming to the end of the pit lane now, so he'll be re-emerging with quite a sizable gap out the front. Archie and Spuzz are about halfway around the lap, so Jazzman is miles ahead at the front. And it's going to be a case of just bring it around and take the plaudits, take your second Wednesday PS4 GT3 League crown here at Motive, take your 4th ACC title here, and what a night, what a few seasons it's been, and what a guy, honestly, what a guy. Absolute star of console ACC sim racing, and yeah, looking unbeatable, to be honest. At this point, obviously with Tynus not being here, obviously if we do end up running the Wednesday PS4 League next season, which I'm hoping to do, I'll be putting out a poll, seeing if people are still up for it, obviously under the conditions that I make sure the servers are updated every week. You know, I'm going to try and be disciplined. I'm going to try and make sure I do it. But yeah, obviously, but hopefully the interest will still be there. I know the numbers have dwindled a bit this season, but I think that's partly down to me and just down to poor organisation. As I said before, we'll be hoping to get on top of that in the future. But yeah, if we do keep this lead, then fingers crossed Tynus signs up again, because we've seen a great battle this season. Unfortunately, only 3 of the races were streamed before tonight, just down to the fact that we've had so many issues along the way. You know, we had like spectator mode broken last week because of me again, basically, but also Monza as well. We had some technical difficulties that night, so yeah, it's been a bit up and down all over the place. But I suppose you can afford one bad season on the old broadcasting side of thing, I guess. But currently Archie, Spuzz, John Jig and Appenloo, these 4 guys separated by about 4 seconds at the moment, so it's quite a close battle for the final podiums places. And I think a couple of them haven't pitted for tyres, but it doesn't look like the tyre wear is too bad at this point. Jazzman, how did you change tyres?
Yes, I did.
Jazzman changed tyres?
Yes.
Right.
In the Bentley, it's the right thing to do.
It's definitely the right thing to do. Yeah, you did as well. Both of these guys in the party chat did change tyres, so I don't know whether, I think some people haven't, because there's been a few changes in terms of the order, but we might be seeing that coming into play later on. Maybe the tyre wear hasn't really fully sort of kicked in yet. The tyres haven't hit the cliff, the ones that started obviously on the tyres that they're using at this point, so we could be seeing that coming into effect in the next few laps. But still Archie running in P2. He had a big gap, he had nearly 10 seconds over Spuzz before the pit window. Obviously Spuzz and John G were battling over those podium places. Appenloo was behind Emo Guy before, he's now 10 seconds ahead of him, so definitely Appenloo didn't change tyres, I'm pretty certain of that. Emo Guy definitely changed tyres. Is he going to be able to bring that gap down in the final part of this race? We'll have to keep our eyes very much on that one. But we are 26 laps into this race here for the final round of the season, for season 11 here at Motive on the PlayStation 4, here for the GT3s on Assetto Corsa Competizione. And it is currently Jazzman still out in front, bossing things here. Has got a 30 odd second lead out the front. He's been superb from him, as he's just putting a lap there on Pete Bibb there. Julie moving over and allowing Jazzman through, but Archie just gapped Spuzz a little bit over the course of the last couple of laps. He's now got a 3 second gap to him. John Jig is within a second of Spuzz at the moment. as he's a further second and a half clear of Appenloo, but John Jig will be looking to try and get himself onto that podium once again, as these two, Spuzz and John Jig, have been having a great battle since the beginning of this race. They're now starting to pull out a little bit from Appenloo, who, as we suspected before, did not change tyres, and we have lost a driver from the race, unfortunately. Somebody has retired.
Ferdinand. It's Ferdinand.
No, he's still in the race. Ferdinand's still there.
I still see him in the race.
It was... Oh, it must have been disconnection. Yeah, Dimenta's disconnected. Yeah, unfortunately we lost Dimenta there. Must have disconnected because he was running in P7, so I can't imagine he would have retired. So what a shame there for him. But currently you got Spuzz running just over a second ahead of John Jig at the moment. Appenloo's just gained a couple of tenths on John Jig over the course of this lap. So this battle for third place is still raging on as we're coming in towards the ball. We are in the final third of this race now. Not quite closing stages yet, but we're getting towards that sort of that period now. Oh, Appenloo really wide there, out of the last corner, just kicking it up a bit of the grass there. So here we are, lap 28 of the race. Things just starting to settle down a bit now. Nothing really major going on at this point.
Lap 28? One on lap 26.
I'm on lap 20. I'm on
It's 28, isn't it? It's 28.
I'm on lap 27. This is the 28th lap. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Because obviously, Emo guy, when it says the number of laps that it says that you've done is the number of laps completed, not the lap that you're on. It's not like Project Cars. So Project Cars, it will show you the lap you're on. On ACC, it shows you the laps completed.
Oh, I know that one, yeah.
Okay. We got Raki in the comments there, said, had one of my most epic races in the Motive Porsche Super Cup. Oh my god, weren't those the days? That was the height of COVID when we had 3 different leagues. I think that was in the highlights video, because I remember the only G, before he unceremoniously departed, made a highlights video called Legend Season 7 highlights, and I think your battle with BT and Dicrox was on that highlights video. I seem to remember that. I wasn't actually there for that race. I think I was working for that race, but I remember Dan and Green Pies were commentating on that one. I've seen that battle a few times whenever I've watched that video. But yeah, I've seen that, Raki. As we can see, Jasmine just put a lap there on Guitar Rich.
Seconds to Emo.
The Porsche Cup cars are bizarre. Just like the way they drive is just completely like different from how a conventional race car is supposed to go, and it really was catching out. You could tell in that highlights video how much it was catching them out, because like they would sort of see the cars coming into the corner, and all of a sudden somebody would be getting the cut back and suckering someone out of the corner, and it was just they were just ended up just laughing because they just couldn't keep up with it. It was just like, what's going on? Like,
the new Porsche Cup cars are a lot better, because these ones actually have ABS.
Yeah, traction control. There's traction control as well.
On the Porsche Super Cup on the PS4, it's no TC or ABS, but on the new one on PC, it's ABS but no TC.
Okay. So like, yeah, they get ABS, but still no traction control. Fair play.
But you can still. It doesn't feel like you have no traction control, so you can still kind of throw it around the corner.
It must be like some kind of, maybe it's got stability control.
I don't know. I think it's just because of the new tire model on PC and everything like that.
You get more feeling, a lot more feeling on 1.8 than you do on this. I'll tell you what, I was playing on the PS5 version because GameTech did a few lobbies on the PS5 version, so I jumped on and did a few races. And going back to PS4 after I've raced on the PS5, oh my god.
Yeah, now I know how that feels.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how you boys do it, because Emo Guy races on the PC, Jazzman on the PS5. You guys have come from 1.8 back to this, and it's like...
Completely different game.
I know the feeling.
I shouldn't be screwing myself over like this, because I've got a 24-hour endurance race coming up next month.
Yeah, but the thing is, think about it, it's 24 hours, so if you mess up the first hour, you still got another 24 to go. I wouldn't worry.
It's memory training with the tire model.
Yeah.
That's what you don't get. You have to, it's when you're constantly switching between the two, you feel like you can, you can't throw the car around.
In a 24-hour race, the first hour is just practice, and then the rest is like the actual thing.
Yeah, but still, it's the whole memory training thing of you've got to remember, right? You've got the new tire model. You can actually do a lot more with this one than what you could do previously.
No, you are right, definitely. But we see currently we've got John just dropped off the back of Spuzz a little bit. Spuzz has just managed to gap him. He gapped just over 2 seconds separating those two. Appenloo is within 2 seconds of John Jig at the moment. Not really too many battles going on at the moment. Every just kind of spread out, all doing their own thing. Archie's got the gap at nearly 5 seconds to Spuzz. But Spuzz, John Jig and Appenloo, these three are separated by 4 seconds. We're going to have to just keep our eyes and see how this unfolds. But we've currently got 11.5 minutes left to go in this race, as we are definitely approaching the closing stages here tonight for the final race of the season at Misano for the GT3s on ACC on the PlayStation 4 platform. If any of the drivers are watching this afterwards, if you did enjoy, please do smash the like button, share this with your friends, family members and other associates. I might have said that a bit too quickly.
You did.
What I meant to say was please share it with your friends, family members and otherwise associates. If you are enjoying it, if you think they might be interested in seeing you being a racing driver on a real life race on a game. But currently still got Spuzz and John Jig separated by just over 2 seconds. Spuzz just gained a little bit on John Jig on that lap. So I'll tell you what the reason is. I'm trying to speak at my usual pace, but I can't because I'm really tired, because I've worked like 13 days solid. It's still 2 to go as well. But like
people say that the Scottish speak too fast.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you're very easy to understand, Emo Guy. To be fair, you've got like a... Oh, I did understand that. I have no idea what you just said.
I've got a fag hanging out my mouth.
I have no idea what he just said there.
I've got a fag hanging out my mouth, right?
Oh, you got a fag hanging in your mouth.
Got a fag hanging in his mouth.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother trying the accent.
Sorry, you've got a fag hanging out of your mouth. What's that?
A cigarette.
Oh, you keep on trying.
No.
You keep on going like that.
My mic just fell on the floor. Apologies for that disturbance.
Poetic justice!
My mic just fell on the floor. You would have just heard a clunk just there. Apologies for that.
Wasn't too bad.
Let me go about fixing that.
Yeah, you keep on going about like that, and you'll find out what a flag hanging at my mouth looks like.
I don't want to find out. To be fair.
Well then, shut up.
All right, I'm now positioning my mic back on the stand again.
I do.
Oh, for God's sake. This is such a flimsy stand, oh my god.
That's why I just stick with a headset.
Yeah, no, but the studio mic's much better quality. The thing is, my PlayStation headset makes me sound like a little girl.
Well, you sound like a little girl anyway, even over the regular phone.
No, I don't. Actually, I've got quite a deep masculine voice, Emo guys. You can quite clearly hear right now.
No.
What?
It sounds like you're talking for a styrofoam cup.
Hey? No, it doesn't. What?
It does for me.
No, it's fine. It's good quality.
No, they're supposed to go along with it. Come on.
Shane, he's not even generally worried about that. I'm like,
Emo guy, you're just trying to. Are you gaslighting me now? Are you?
man.
You are gaslighting me. I'm disappointed. I can't believe you.
How many years have you known me?
How many years have we been on this? 3 years?
Exactly. You should know by now that I am a massive cunt.
Do you know what? There was a time in the history of motive racing where I would have probably like scolded you for using that word on stream, but I think I'm at the point now where I'm not really like bothered.
it's more authentic.
You can't
Yeah,
please
it's
everyone.
genuine, isn't it?
Yeah.
You feel like it's got that podcasty feel to it. That's
And he
all
is
like that
racing.
real life.
So he's pumped
Yeah.
up. And just
Yeah, but even if I'm rock racing, that's my language anyway.
and just beware, I am coming up behind you.
Oh, I've always got one eye on my relative. Don't you worry.
Oh god.
So as Andy can tell you, when it comes to letting leaders through, I always end up probably letting giving too much space.
Oh mate, the number of times I've been lapping emo guy and he's just taken me clean out. It's outrageous.
You've never lapped me in your puff.
I have lapped you a couple of times.
No, you've not.
No, you've lapped me as well. We both, because everybody has a bad race and gets damaged and has to come into the pits and ends up miles behind. We've both lapped each other, not many times, but I've lapped you a couple of times. I remember once in a Clio race I'd lapped you because you had damage.
Yep.
And I remember you lapped me in a GT3 race, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Both of those were on project cars too.
Exactly.
To be fair, like on F1, I think you've lapped me about bloody 57 times.
Yeah. Talking about F1 actually, when does the season end?
The season, what, our season? Oh, you mean the motive season?
Yep.
It ends. Well, it goes to the end of the year. Why were you thinking of signing up for next season?
After the spots to the end, after the 14th of next month, I'll happily join because that's when my seasonal contract ends with my work.
Are you getting F1 on the PlayStation?
No, we're going to have to do crossplay. I don't have that kind of money.
Oh, mate, we don't. We can't do crossplay because it doesn't work. It's all right for doing like a two-player career mode, but doing a full lobby is a nightmare.
We'll see. It all depends on connection. It depends on the connection of the PC player.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi is not good enough to support crossplay as a host. I've got about 110 download, which is okay. 110 download and 10 upload, so it's okay. It's good enough to do just do, like normal lobbies, but crossplay it can't quite do it.
With that, actually, they did actually release it all, and the minimum you need to do to support a crossplay online lobby is at least 50 megabytes download.
Well, if I had F1,
reliable.
I would offer you my 1 gig a second internet.
Your 1 gig a second, that's too much. That's just gonna bug everybody. You're just making everybody else look bad. You're making everybody else look bad.
At that point, if you had that kind of internet at your work, you can download GTA. Your boss walks in the room, you delete it, and you reinstall it 5 minutes later.
Man, it's a joy to download games. I'm not gonna lie. I can just download anything, go have a cigarette, and it's done.
I'm gonna say I can download Destiny 2 within I think it's like 45 minutes. That game's got a bigger download file than Warzone.
Yeah, no, it's a bonus.
I sometimes wish my upload was a bit better because then I'll be able to stream in 4K. I'll be able to use OBS reliably. My bitrate would be sick.
1080 is plenty enough.
Yeah,
it is good
fine.
enough.
Yeah. Especially this is on this is the ps4 version, so it's fine at 1080p.
And talking to OBS, I've actually started to get into it. So
you used it?
Yeah, I had to use it to upload an instant file for a 4-hour race in Indianapolis the other week there.
Oh, fair play. It's quite easy to use actually when you get the hang of it. The hardest part about using OBS is obviously remembering not to maximize tabs, because I'm always so tempted to maximize tabs, and obviously you can't, because if you do then you lose the other tabs, and you just get a black screen, and that's the hardest part for me.
I'm thinking about using OBS just to stream my point of view of the 24-hour race.
Yeah. Oh, definitely you should. Are you gonna do a face cam as well?
I don't know, because the camera that I've got is toilet. But I suppose even that camera's better than nothing.
Yeah, that might as well. We've got Riga in the comments. Riga races in this league, obviously couldn't make tonight, unfortunately. Formerly Iron Saber, switched his name to Riga for this season. He's saying he's just tuned in time for the finish. And we're looking like we might have quite an exciting finish to this race in the battle for the podium spots, because we've got Spuzz and John Jig separated by a second. Archie lost a bit of time to these guys in the pit window, ended up just ahead of them, having had quite a big gap to them, but he's pulled that gap out once again with those fresh tyres. And Spuzz is just keeping John Jig at bay, as he has done for most of this race, but John Jig is maybe just going to start throwing caution to the window. He hasn't really got much to lose. I suppose maybe he has, because Appaloo's only 5 seconds behind, so if John Jig goes too ham in his pursuit of a Spuzz, then he might end up losing P4 to Appaloo. So he does technically have, I suppose, that something to lose, but we'll have to see what he does here. I think this is the penultimate lap of the race for them.
Yeah. I've got one more lap to do.
Yeah, so we'll have 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
Yeah.
Well, unless I lap Appaloo, I'm quite close, so he might have.
Oh yeah, true.
Oh, my knees start to go. Yay.
I won't lap him. He's in a bit of a battle.
Remember ages ago, Andy, at Catalonia, a good few seasons ago now, when my daughter's mum was in the chat, we made a bet for the gloves.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I was in the McLaren, I was trying to hold, I can't remember what position it was, I think it was like P6 or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that's when my knee was really giving me some issues, and it still does, and it's starting to pop up now.
Is it like ligaments?
Yeah, it's tendonitis.
Tendonitis. It's like I know those sorts of things. It's really, I know like footballers get that all the time. ACL, isn't it? They do their cruciate ligament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
that kind of thing.
I think what started it all was that the Simply 24-hour.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Emo Guy and myself did race in a 24-hour race. To be fair, I was feeling negative effects of that as well. I felt really like spaced out for about a month after that, because we drove, what was it, you drove about 15 hours, didn't you? I drove about 18 hours. We drove a considerable amount of a 24-hour race on Project Cars 2, and obviously those of you who play Project Cars 2 on the PlayStation will know there's no driver swaps. So for most of it, we were driving it, and we put the AI in for little periods where we wanted to have a break. So like I put the AI in to have a pizza and to have about a 3-hour sleep. The rest of it, I was at the wheel non-stop.
I didn't even sleep at all that night.
I did have a bit of a sleep. Basically, the only reason I slept, I wasn't going to. The only reason I ended up sleeping was because they said we were going to restart. So it was like got to about 3 o'clock in the morning, and they kind of announced that they were going to do a restart at 8 a.m. So I thought, well, I can get 4 hours of sleep here and get some kind of energy back if I go to bed. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sort of fucked for the restart.
Yeah, but
so I took that chance.
At least your negative effects haven't stayed with you, and hasn't stopped you from doing long ass stints in a race. I can barely do an hour and a half stint without my knees starting to give me issues.
And the race is over.
Nonetheless, we have got the champion of this season's PlayStation 4 GT3 League on a Wednesday night on ACC at Motive Racing. Jazzman coming up towards the line in the number 14 Bentley, takes the checkered flag, and he is a 4-time champion here on the PlayStation on ACC at Motive, and it is his second championship in this Wednesday league. What can stop Jazzman? Not much is the answer. Tinus in the house took it to the penultimate round of the season, but wasn't able to be here this week, so unfortunately for him, couldn't stake a claim here this week at Misano for this final round. Jazzman, though, what a job from you this season, mate. You've been absolutely fantastic. You've taken 4 wins, I think it is. Or is it? No, 3 wins from 6, because Reco took the win at Barcelona. So obviously taking 3 wins this season, but what a fantastic season from yourself. You had a great battle. Tell us about Tynus as well. Obviously you two have had good banter. You always very close and evenly matched, and obviously you come away with this because he wasn't able to make it tonight, but you had the lead anyway coming into this round. What's it like to race up against him? And obviously, as well, 4-time champion. How does that feel?
Well, I'll first comment on me and Tennis. Yeah, we're very close, and it's always nice to do a championship with him. I tagged him along for this ps4 one to come and join again, and it was fun doing the whole come from the back and have good races. And it's just a pity he had an engagement which he couldn't miss tonight. But overall, it's been a good season. It's been good fun. Thanks to everyone who raced, and I'm just happy to be a 4-time champ at Motor. So,
you're racking them up now, aren't you? You're collecting them at quite a rapid rate.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I signed up to the PS4 Sprint and the PS5 Sprint, but that's obviously been delayed. Like I was aiming to hopefully be a 6-time champion by end of the year.
You might be. You never know. We'll be doing this. We're doing this league again next season. PS5 will be running on Sundays. So the 6-time could be there. Could be on the table still by the end of this calendar year. But an amazing season from yourself there. We saw the battle for the podium spot, by the way, go all the way to the flag between Spuzz and John Jig. Spuzz just holding on. Archie taking second place with those two third and fourth. App and Luke P5 ahead of Emo Guy 6th, Pete 7th ahead of Guitarich in 8th place. Nilsson and Fednad completing the top 10, and obviously Dimenta and Army retiring from the race. Race Vader didn't start the race. Not sure why, but he didn't. I think maybe he got banned from PlayStation before qualifying started. But what a season, what a job from Jazzman. 85 seconds you gap there. Insane stuff.
I do like this track.
He does like this track, to be fair. I mean, I suppose that's a bit of solace that you can take from this. If he was sat here saying, "Oh, I hate Misano, I'm rubbish around here," then I think you should be worried. But he likes it, so it's okay.
I've done a lot of laps around here, so
yeah, he knows what he's doing around here. That's for sure. But wow, what a margin that is from him. Emo Guy P6. We've also got him in the chat. How was that race for you, mate? Do you enjoy it? Oh, he's not there. He's gone to the bog.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
He's back.
Hey, right, Emo Guy. What was that? How was that for you, mate? P6 in that race. I think you might have forgotten we were racing tonight until I gave you a ring at 7:15.
Yeah, well, it was just the same as every other race. Just tried to get my head down, get it done. Was pretty much by myself for for pretty much 3/4 of it, but can't complain with the result from where I started.
Yeah, good race for yourself there. You had some good battles in the early stages of it. In that mid pack, you managed to clear those battles and make some hay. I don't know how App and Lou got up into the position he was. I think he must have not pitted for tyres and just saved them really well. But unlucky for you there not to get that P5. But that is going to be that then. We obviously Jazzman there taking his 4th title here at Motive Racing, 4 overall in terms of his total championships. He's obviously now a 2-time champion of the Wednesday PS4 GT3 League as well. I want to say a big thank you to all the drivers who joined us this season. I'm hoping to bring this league back again for next season. I'm hoping to keep it going. Obviously, it's not been great this season, the turnouts, but saying that, a lot of that's been down to me. I'm going to put out a little poll and just see who would still be up for it on Wednesday nights, who is still a PS4 user. Try and gauge some kind of scope as to what we can expect in terms of numbers. But I want to say a big thank you once again. Thanks to you guys, to Jazzman and to Emo Guy for jumping in the box and keeping me company on the stream tonight as well. And we will see you guys pretty soon. We're back on tomorrow night for the Touring Cars and Project Cars 2, 8:30 p.m. UK time. Also, we'll be live for the F1 on Friday at 6:45 p.m. And then after that, we'll be back for next season. That'll be it for a season. Oh no, F1 will still be running every week. But the sim leagues all